Good morning, guys. My name is Luke, and today we're going to be continuing our daily devotionals through the book of 1 Corinthians. Today we're going to be in chapter 12, verses 21 through 26. Paul's been talking about spiritual gifts, how everyone who is part of the body has different spiritual gifts, and then he goes into diversity and unity in the body. That's what we're going to be today. Paul is going to make this beautiful analogy between the human body and the body of Christ. So I'm going to go ahead and read the passage. Again, this is chapter 12, starting in verse 21. The eye cannot say to the hand, I do not need you. And the head cannot say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. And the parts we think are less honorable, we treat with special honor. And the parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty, while our presentable parts need no special treatment. But God has put the body together, giving greater honor to the parts that lacked it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for one another. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. Wow, what an awesome analogy. So when we think about the human body and how complex it is, there's so many moving parts, so many things that need to happen just for us to speak a word or to say a breath. It's so very complicated, and we need every single one of those parts. And that's what Paul is getting at. He's saying that no part of the body is more important than the other. They are all just as important in their own special way. Often we will look at a body part that we don't think about typically on the daily. We'll think about our hands and our feet and our mouths and our heads, but we don't typically think about our internal organs until it gets hurt. We don't think about these until one gets hurt, one gets damaged, one stops working, and then the whole body feels the effects. If our kidneys or our pancreas shut down, that's not something that is out in the open that we think about regularly, but when it shuts down, then the whole body feels the consequences of it. And that's what Paul is saying in verse 21. And in verse 22, he says, on the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. So we have to remember that these parts are completely indispensable. We need these in the body of Christ. He's talking about people that do things in the background, that are not at the forefront, people that just do things for the body of Christ and go unnoticed and never get as much appreciation as a lot of other people. That's why I love in verse 24, it says, but God has put together the body. So this body of Christ is specifically put together by God. And he knows that there are going to be people that are in the limelight and people that are not. And he's going to lift up the people so that everyone is at that even playing field, or the scales are even, because he wants to give honor to those people. But God has put together the body, giving greater honor to the parts that lacked it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for each other. And I love that. I love that everything is planned out in God's vision for what he wants the body of the church to look like. And verse 25, Paul really brings it home and gives us a very practical application for what he's talking about. He could have just said, talking to the people of Corinth, hey guys, you need to love one another and you need to care for one another. But he goes into this analogy to tell you why it's so important for us. verse 25, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for one another. Verse 26, if one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. So that's what Paul is telling us to do. We have to remember that there's no one above anyone else. Everyone has their own special roles, and without those roles, the body would just fall apart. So just remember that. Remember to lift up your brothers and sisters in the body, and we need to rejoice with them, and we need to suffer with them as well. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.